Hi, this is Jim and Sylvia Piers, and just wanted to fill you in a bit on our trip to Bulgaria last spring with Mladen. We had a wonderful time. It's a trip that I would recommend most people should try. Bulgaria is a very interesting country. It's very rich in culture, with a lot of civilizations going through the country because of the connection with Constantinople over the years. But also it's rich in topography and the culture of the people, wonderful people. And you have the mountains in one area in the middle, and you have in your bigger cities, and then the Black Sea on the other side. And the other thing that's very interesting is they also have the oldest city in Europe, which most people don't realize. What did we like about the trip? I think first of all, it was extremely well organized, and we did things that you typically wouldn't see, like the folklore and various tours that we had, private tours that we had. But the other thing that was interesting was the hotel accommodations were very good, except for the inside joke of this communist hotel, which one day I'll fill you in on if you want to know more about. But the hotel accommodations were great. The food was very good, and the wines were surprisingly very good, and so we enjoyed that. But what we enjoyed the most about it was learning about a different culture. Sylvia and I had been to Bulgaria 47 years ago when it was under communist rule, and this time we got to see what the impact was of the communist ruling. And I think it's something that everyone should experience. It gives you a better idea, shows you how happy and lucky we are to live in the country that we do. But I would recommend it. It's fun. You'll learn a lot. But the other thing we enjoyed the most was being able to share with Mladen and seeing the country through his eyes, which, to be honest, was a big pleasure, which we really enjoyed. And the other
Joy as well.
And Joy Zoel, who also organizes the trip, she's also from Bulgaria. So in leaving, the last thing I will say, you all have to try, especially the guys, is rakia.
Natural and fun is what Bulgaria was. Starting in Sofia, we stayed at a great older hotel that was very comfortable, wonderful views of the city. We wandered around town a little bit, and then when we took off, I think the next day, I don't know, because this was a trip that was pretty concise and run very well. And we were off and running. We had Mladen, Bulgarian, we had Joy, Bulgarian, we had Kamen, who was the historian and the every other thing he picked up, and he's also Bulgarian, all about the same age. They all lived through the communist rule, which was very important to me to listen to the things that they went through. And there was the countryside and the mountains that was beautiful, and small villages, and we got to see how people really lived, plus the local or the historic dancing and customs, beautiful views in these villages up in the country. Stayed at wonderful places. Walking, you have to be able to walk down the stairs to get to the one village I'm thinking of, and intermittent wineries that were pretty damn good. They were the wines were very, very good. The wineries were much more modern than I had thought. They were very up to date, and the vintners were exceptional, and knew what was going on. Plovdiv, which is a city that I really loved. If I was going to go back, I'd want to spend some time in Plovdiv. Plovdiv I think it has everything. It was like, if I remember correctly, it was the oldest city in Europe. It was up to date. There was a lot of action going on. People all over the place. Nice little bars and places to eat. Plus, you would stop and look down in certain areas, and there's Roman ruins below you.
We saw the oldest gold in the world and dug up in these graves, and I'm surprised the communists didn't steal that too, along with everything else. We saw some very interesting history, and it was every day wonderful meals, lunch and dinner, starting with the beautiful tomato salad that just tasted like real tomatoes. And the food was good, and the accommodations were good. We stayed at two very fancy places, the Relay and Chateau, and you could see Greece and Macedonia from there. And then we went out to the Black Sea and stayed at a beautiful golf resort. And we even played a little bit of golf there.
We did, yeah.
And, exceptional food. The people is what is exceptional. Wonderful, wonderful people, beautiful country that has put up with so much wars and finishing with the damn communists.
The people that we were able to interact with during the thing were both, from archaeologists that were, bringing things from the past with their little brushes and working very hard to the people who are still stuck with the communist mentality, and it was quite interesting for me to see all this, and really exceptional, and real food, and it was so much fun. And I thank Joy Mladen and Carmen and our bus driver, who I can't remember his name, who was also great.
He was
But we had one hell of a time, and Bulgaria, I know it's people still kind of go like, you went to Bulgaria? Why would you go to Bulgaria? And we went because of Mladen, basically. But I don't know if I'll get back, but it's a great place. I would recommend it. It's fighting hard to be where it should be. It's a hard fight, and they're fighting it. So
we have been to Spain and France and Italy quite a few times, and Mladen said, "But have you been to Bulgaria?" And I went, "No, someplace different and unique." And people started going to Croatia a few years ago, and we can see that Bulgaria could be the new Croatia.
One of the most special experiences was watching Joy and Mladen explain their country and the history of their country. And as someone that travels a lot, like I do, I find it always interesting to learn new cultures, learn about the history of the country, learn about the food, the wines, because it's not just about the history, it's not just about the scenery, it's not just about the coastline, whether it's Burgas or Varna, it's not about just Plavda or Sofia, the capital, but it's meeting the people and trying to understand the history and why the people of Bulgaria are so friendly, joyous, very welcoming, and fun to be with.
Food and the wine were spectacular at every meal, of course, with Mladen being in charge. How could it be anything else? What I loved were the people. The people, we didn't have the torn jeans, baggy t-shirts. People presented themselves with respect and dressed lovely.
Everybody in this country ought to take all their teenagers and anybody under the age of 25 or 30 and send them over there to see how the country has developed since they got out under socialism, communism. Everybody we saw was cheerful, happy, looking forward to the future, just good people. Nice.